how's it going?
Nice to meet you, I'm James.
Hello, Dale.
Dale, James, and Adam right here for your viewing pleasure.
In the flesh, baby.
If you don't fake it, then you're cool. That was nice. This is Painting Everybody, and that's our new intro song.
No, it's not. I copyrighted that.
Come get cock on our
Yeah,
door.
just on camera. Damn it!
Well, actually, I haven't signed anything, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, fair enough.
Technically, you recorded it. I did not, so I don't know if I can play that again.
I wouldn't worry about it. It sounded similar to a song that I played once.
Why do we? Oh, there's a fucking duck.
Oh, we really all play.
They all take the
same.
rights. Yeah.
I don't know where to put this, to be honest with you.
You can put it.
On the log? I don't want to.
You can put it up top.
Like up here somewhere?
Yeah,
Does it
why
be in
not?
frame?
That's
It
fine.
has to be in frame though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that log on the table really throws us for a loop.
It's a nice log.
It is nice.
Like you can't just get rid of that.
Yeah, I like that big X.
You
wound
have
in it.
like
It's
so
crazy.
much good stuff here. I don't know what to move for this.
Yeah, whichever.
Here, you know what?
You're the boss.
It's gotta get.
Unloggable.
It'll be like this, so people can kind of see it, and it'll be subtle. It'll be like that looks nice. There you go.
Yeah,
Look at that.
that's a great job.
It's
Call me
in disarray.
weird.
I can't even start this. Yeah.
So do you normally paint without gloves?
Me?
Yeah. Or are you just starting without gloves?
I don't really want to be on camera with gloves.
Mm.
That's Michael Jackson's thing. I don't want to try to encroach on his territory. 'Cause I
I'm
like,
trying to-
I like to wear one glove when I'm doing live painting.
I mean, I know Michael Jackson.
Because I hold a rag in one hand and I can clean the brush,
Mm.
and that's the dirty hand. Which is pretty common. The left hand's usually the dirty hand, I think, in most cultures. Right?
Yeah.
You know your right hand is, that's what you shake people with.
Right. I mean, if we're talking about actual, yeah.
Are you lefty or righty?
The dirty deeds.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I am ready. How about you?
How did lefty?
Really?
How does
Okay.
it feel having to shake with your right hand?
Well, you have to do everything. Like I told them at our work, I was like, there's not a left-handed tool in this building.
I believe that.
There's not a left-handed door. And they're like, well, what about the sledgehammer? I'm afraid the sledgehammer is universal.
They showed
Can you not use drills with your left hand? Do you use a drill with your left hand?
You can,
Is it-
or well, I do, but
Yeah.
you, even things like that are kind of like ergonomically designed
For
for.
righties?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
So unfortunately,
is there an island for left-handed people?
Yeah, it's called UK.
Okay.
it's called Columbia College.
I'm gonna choose to believe you.
Yeah, they all drive on the other side of the road, so you know.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of your shit on the right side, your shit's on the left
I think
side.
you're actually right here.
I'm just
You're
making
right.
points.
Right.
I don't know if I'm right. I just thought of the first island in mind.
All right. So, which neighborhood are you in, Dale? Are you in the city?
Lincoln Park,
Yeah.
Fullerton. Well, yeah, Fullerton and Southport by Burger Kingdom.
Nice. That's a big deal.
It's like a super nice street, like $1 million family homes. And then there's just one house. I call it the house from Fight Club, where like they can move their children, away
Yeah.
on the sidewalk, or like when I go outside, they're like everyone goes inside. And it's like literally like they'll walk down and like the blinds and shutters start closing up.
Jesus.
And I'm like, I went to they hold a block party every year, the Jansen Alkel annual block party, and I've never gone to it, not once, but this year I had all those, well, before you started, we had an event for James Beard.
Mhm.
And we had like a project for him, and we had like a whole palette of sandals. It's like blue unisex sandals that go up to size 11, and they sent out a big staff email. Take these, we don't want them. Everyone took one or two. Well, I took like 30, and I gave them to the whole staff at this bar near my apartment, and they really liked them. And it started to become, it was a hit. So I came back and I took about 600, and then I made this. I had Rebecca make this poster with Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men, and it says, "You can't sandal the truth." And I started putting them everywhere and handing them out, and now I've become known as the Sandal Guy, or Sandal L. Jackson.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Well, I had 2 crates left eventually, and I went to the block party for the first time.
Mhm.
And I walked up to these 2 middle-aged women and demanded to know, who is in charge of the pet and bike parade? And they seemed very taken aback, and so I repeated it. Who is in charge of the pet and bike parade? And they still looked very confused. I don't think they realized that I was basically accusing them of their block party, in fact, really being a pet and bike parade. So ultimately I left the poster and the crates there, and I never looked back.
I'm glad you did that.
Me too.
What do you think happened to it? Do you think that it was used?
I don't know.
Or do you
I
think
was-
that it was.
I was never
started?
thanked, or never...
Never thanked for my good deed.
I was never thanked or acknowledged or even unacknowledged.
That would even, yeah, that's bare minimum.
I was given really no choice but to continue living the way I have been.
As the sandal guy.
As a rat on a ship. A ship on a street. So the sandal guy became, a local legend. Except now the sandal guy doesn't have any more sandals.
So do you think that's like your peak of that, like, your reputation with that neighborhood?
It's, well,
Like, is that as good as it's gonna get?
I'll be back.
I'll be back with some.
Good.
You gotta get red sandals.
Yeah, red sandals would be a nice way to mix that up.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't see it
I've
coming.
been thinking maybe there's that song, it's like I got my red dress on tonight. Well, so I heard it and I was like, what about red sandals? I got my red sandals on tonight. And then she says something else, and I don't really know what it is. Our little red sandals.
Is that like the Prince version?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can.
I'm just picturing a Santa Claus sort of style sandal.
Here comes Sandal Claus.
What, with like little bells or mistletoes on them or something?
Yeah, and how inappropriate it would look for sandals to be that. But I guess
Yeah, I don't think like
that's just
anything
because we're
Christmas,
in the Midwest. If we were in a warmer climate,
like anything Christmas shouldn't be
Winter.
on a sandal. They wouldn't make any sense.
Well,
What are
could-
you having fucking sandals on during winter for?
Well, what if you live in Florida? What if you live in Florida? I'll ask you that, James. What if you live in Florida?
Yeah, I don't go anywhere else. I'm just here. I'm just kidding.
Maybe,
I can't, yeah, you know, I don't know. Something
maybe
about
they would
that's
just
wrong.
be for Santa Claus.
I mean, honestly, Floridan or people from Florida, like, don't they
Listeners.
think that it's like cold when it gets to 70 or something?
I
Like, I know some.
don't know what to think about what they think.
Floridians.
To be honest, they scare the living shit out of me.
Which ones?
Floridians.
Yeah.
With all
Just-
their
just-
anti-gator sentiment and
Propaganda, too.
Yeah.
So much of
Hey,
it.
man, how many people get eaten in a fucking year? Like, gator, though. They got gators crossing roads like ducks, you know, like that's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah.
Maybe we could equip our sandals with anti-gator technology.
Like deterrent or something, like you just kind of like have a little pocket of like some
Gator
kind of
skin sandals.
Like if it's gonna sneak up on you, it shoots out like some kind of modified octopus mist, like ink.
I think there would need to be alligator skin.
So that they
So they would see them
it's
and
a
they would know
message.
they're fake.
They're like, oh no, that's my friend Albert.
Yeah, but you'd have to pick the alpha of the alligators, alligator alpha, and they would know that you took out the strongest one just by seeing the sandal.
So we'll take like a
It would be.
But also he was
It'd be important.
maybe like I don't know. Maybe he was misunderstood.
Of course. Aren't we all? I mean, I can.
He didn't want to eat anyone.
Empathize.
He just like needed help with his homework or something.
Yeah.
He just needed someone to listen to.
Al, the alpha alligator.
Have you been to Florida?
Yeah, I went one time, and I stayed with a friend in, I think it's called Cape Coral, I want to say, on the southwest side. And we intended to go shark fishing, and we were going to do all these things. And I helped them move from Tampa while I was there. And then they went to work every day, and I stayed in their house, and I played video games. Because it rained every day. And it rained on our shark fishing parade. So that was my experience in Florida. I played video games, and I listened to his music. I burned his CDs. Or I ripped his CDs onto my computer. So it wasn't much different from here, I guess, in my opinion. How about you? Have you spent a significant time there?
I think about 4 times. Disney World. When I was, I don't know, young enough that my younger brother, let's call him Dane, fell into a jacuzzi and almost drowned. But because he survived, he was given a complimentary Simba stuffed animal, which seemed to smooth things over until he was accosted by King Louis outside of the entrance to the Magic Kingdom. You see, King Louis has like his hands aren't like mobile, like they're
like an action
they're like
figure.
molded, so like he can't move them. So should he try to hug you or I don't know, extend a hand or greeting, he will in fact like, you know, prod or bat or I don't know. It's like he's incapable of being gentle. So my brother was unfortunately
do you think that's
accosted by a large royal ape.
Was that also due to his sort of like the entitlement? Do you think? Because
King
of the
Louis?
kingship, because of his royal status.
I do think that he did have a bit of an ego due to his
his elevated status, yeah. I think so.
And so we left, and then we went back years later, but for different reasons. Only to leave again with a tarnished reputation, or further tarnished, similar to the flathead screw.
How about you, James? Have you been to Florida?
I remember going like one time when I was young, and I don't really fucking remember at all, because I just
How
remember,
young?
I was like 8, and I just remember pretty much my mom going for some kind of work conference, and I just remember just like catching fucking lizards at a hotel, because they're just fucking running rampant, and so I was just running around catching lizards, and I don't even fucking remember like somehow bringing one back in a bottle on my luggage somehow, and my fucking, I don't even remember how it worked.
Did you keep it for a while, or did it die, or what?
I fucking, well, we drove there, so it like, I brought it like in my like fucking luggage and hid it from my parents and shit in the car. And yeah, like, I think my dad like found it or something. We ended up like keeping it, but I actually like brought a whole fucking like one of the caught when we were catching one, bringing it back in the car ride.
Did it become an invasive species and take out the other?
Well, it ended up dying in the tank. So at one point, you know, like when I was like
I know that
older.
feeling, yeah.
So like, you know, I don't know a bunch of pets, but then I went back. The only other time I went back to Florida was actually like last year for Art Basel. So I went there for like all the like different like shows out there. I can't remember.
What did you think of it? And what was the lizard's name?
I can't remember what the fuck I named that lizard, to be honest. Dude, I had so many random pets. The only pets' names I remember are like my dog's names.
Don't say your first pet's name, because that's usually one of the questions that they ask you when they're trying to verify your identity.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you choose that, and some listener knows that, they'll be able to.
It'd be like that's a good way to get somebody.
Yeah.
I think there's better ways to do that other than trying to get someone's fucking actual security question right.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Art Basel was pretty weird to me, because it was like my first real experience with, I guess, like that many art galleries that are internationally known into like one spot, and then it's just like, it's kind of like Southwest by Southwest or whatever, with the kind of big ass music event that has a bunch of other music events going on.
South by Southwest, right?
Yeah, and like that one in Texas. That's like what I would compare it to. So it's just like Art Basel is just one expo of like all these other giant shows that are happening. There's also a bunch of music stuff and other things going on, other gallery shows. But it's just so much going on, man. Like if you're even there for like a week, like there's so much shit going on. It's really hard to like see everything you want, because you get so tired out by walking, because you're walking like miles a day just to see art.
What did you see that when you were there that stood out to you?
The one was this one kid who, not kid, but he's like my age or younger, but he's like 27, I think. Okay. But he had a painting, like he went by like Billy the Kid or something, or something. I can't remember the name. I gotta look it up. But he had this just crazy like cutout. He like had a crazy like cutout like painting that was just a super realistic image of like a PSP with like a fucking collage of like a boy that has like the kind of the Goliath with the tear kind of angle, or not Goliath, fucking what's his name? Do you know what I'm talking about? With it's like the famous painting of like the like
Rodin. Oh wait, no. Oh,
he has like the tear going down, and he's like fighting
Dante.
No, is it Goliath? Man, I'm terrible fucking art history.
Hold on, I really want to figure out what.
Do you remember? Do you know? It's like he has his arm going across his face, and he has like, it's like a famous painting where he's like tears, and he's like during a battle.
The Romantic era,
no,
like the Victorian.
Dude, I couldn't even tell you. I failed art history, so
that's fair.
Yeah,
me too. Actually, it's fine.
Nah, but yeah, if I saw the image, I could show you right away, but. No, it was just a lot of art at one time.
Was it super realistic? Was it?
The painting was super hyper real, but it was like a crazy collage of like contemporary like imagery of like a shopping cart on fire, and like it was like a PSP splitting in half with this kid and like angel wing coming out, and like he had like a partly set in armor, and this was a pretty crazy painting. But that was like, it was, so the thing that I had a problem with was like it was my first time there, and I was trying really hard to see as much as I could, and I kind of just burned my head out, and I basically just couldn't like keep up with all the shit I was seeing. So I just basically at one point just kind of felt like I'd like fried my brain, and I wasn't able to kind of take in any more information.
Sure.
So like I was seeing paintings that I couldn't even like remember, because I was just because it's just aisles and on aisles of like artwork. And it's, most of it you might not even like, because like not everyone's got the same taste.
So it's like a gun show, but with art.
Yeah, if you've ever been to an expo, or like even like a tattoo expo, like if you go to a tattoo expo, there's so many tattoo artists. It's like shit, I can't even remember some of the tattoo artists that I just saw. You know,
No, I went to.
You ever go to
Chicago?
You ever go
Once.
to?
I
Oh,
went to
okay.
Bezel
So
one
yeah, like it's
It was fun.
it's a really good time for if you're any type of like art lover or just artist. But I think it is
I wouldn't
like
go that far.
I think it's a good thing to see the art world though, because like if you're just stuck in one city or one place, it's good to go out to these places where all these people are coming from around the world to at least present something. And you don't have to just go to Basel. You can go to all the like side galleries that has people and like all the murals that are getting put up.
A lot, right? In
You know.
Wynwood?
Yeah, like Wynwood's a good area, but like all across the area, like people are all over doing stuff because it just brings artists from around the world.
Why would you say they're overdoing it?
No, I just mean that like there's just a lot going on. So it's like if you, I think as like someone who never has been to something like that the first time, it was just trying. I just tried to like take everything in at once when like I really should have kind of like mediated like how much I was doing, because if it was like
Yeah, I know.
you know like you get so excited and
You
you're like
couldn't
going,
possibly, right?
it's like I don't know if you've ever gone to your first music festival before and you're just like, fuck, I want to go see this, this, and this, and this, and this, and then you realize, wow, I can't do that. Like, I'm not possibly going to do all. So then you have to kind of pick and choose what you really want to see. That's like another way I would describe it. But no, it's like when I mean like overwhelm, it's just an overwhelming amount of stuff where like I just again like there was a point where I was like, damn, I can't even fucking tell you what I just saw, because I was like by the third day I was there, I was so fried and overwalked, and because I'm going from like the different shows and like. I was like riding bikes everywhere because it was a lot cheaper than Uber, and like Florida was like actually Florida had
that was
the craziest fucking
Yeah.
traffic, so it was quicker to take Ubers and scooters everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
or the bikes I mean. So I just was riding bikes all over the place, and I was fucking tired. I remember even I got back early because I was like, fuck this, I'm probably gonna take it fucking switching it up and going home early. But yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good time. It's just
Really?
I overdid myself. Like I was supposed I like a day early because I was just so fucking exhausted. I had to come back and work. Then like I would have to go home and just go to sleep and work the next day. I was like, I'm not doing that. I didn't really plan for how much I was gonna be fucking having to do. It was like a fucking lot of work, a lot more work than you would think.
Did you meet any artists that were significant to you when you were there?
I mean, the artist I went with, I definitely built like a stronger relationship with. It was because, and I think it was more because the people I stuck around, you know, I started developing like a stronger relationship with them. But like you're just seeing so many people are just like, oh hey, what's up? Like it's nice to meet you, and then like that's it. Like that's all you're gonna see of them that weekend because they're going to do their next thing, you're going to do your next thing. So really, the group I was with, I would definitely built a stronger relationship. But I didn't like really like meet like I did
King
meet
Louis.
some,
You didn't meet King Louis.
No, I did not get to meet King Louis. That's unfortunate.
He might have been there
He might have been walking around.
It's most likely, yeah.
under
At the
a
Marriott, staying at the Marriott.
false identity.
I think the thing I realized about just art in general is like, man, there's like a lot of work I don't like in this world, and it's like I think that's okay because it's just
Most, right?
like it's
That
just because
makes
like if
sense.
you have like a particular taste, like if you go to any of the shows, you're probably gonna look through it and be like, damn, I don't like most of this shit.
Of course.
You know, I see the reasoning behind a lot of it, but you know, some of it's not the reasons I would go for. You know, because like I like the idea of like having a true style to your nature, like something like things that are refined, things that can put time and technique and thought and process. But like some people are completely opposite. Some people just want to like spontaneously make shit. They don't want to worry about technique. They just want to express whatever like inner thought they're having that has nothing to do with a process of thought.
That's fine. I was more cruel about them in the past than I am now.
I think it's just important to just realize
It's
like
easy to
people
be a
are,
snob when you know very little, and then the more you learn, that if you're still a snob, you're kind of a prick.
I think it's just good to know that you don't like certain art, but it doesn't mean it's like bad or good. It just means you have a certain like subjective opinion about it. I think when you get down into it, it doesn't really matter what you even think. So like you're just having this fucking thought in your head that like it's just telling you don't like this thing because of the experiences you had. But if you just like rip that all apart, it's just all subjective, man. You know, you can.
I disagree with that. I have an aversion to that word.
Oh, like subjective?
Yeah.
You don't like this word
I don't
subjective?
like associating that word with art.
I
I
do
do not
because
believe that
all it
is-
means is that it's just an opinion, man. Like after that, it's not like a fact.
A failure is a failure.
A failure is a failure if someone says that it
If
is.
you
to
set out
themselves.
to do something and you clearly fall short of that goal, that's a bad painting.
Yeah, but
I
that's
think
like.
that it can be true.
But I know, but
And
then you have someone come in though.
sometimes-
But you have an outside opinion come in who has never painted in their life, and they look at it and they say that's really good, and that to them. Yeah, to you because you have experience with painting. This person who has never seen a painting in their life, they're gonna look at that and say that's really good.
Sure.
And that's why it's subjective.
Or your
It doesn't. It's all
mother
about the perspective
also.
of who's looking at the painting. It's not about because you're actually privileged because you actually have experiences with painting. Like you actually know what a good painting might be.
Are you being ironic?
No, I'm just telling you that's what subjective means, though.
Okay.
That's just a perspective.
Privileged. I'm privileged because
Privileged
I
because
educated
you.
myself.
No, I'm saying your privilege is not even a bad word. I'm just saying you
I
had
don't
a
know why I'm
fortunate.
taking
You've had
such an
fortunate.
antagonistic tone. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying you have like a fortunate reality that
I think-
you're able to step into a environment where you could paint, and not a lot of people have that experience. Not a lot of people think they can paint, which they can, but they don't. But you were able to take those steps, so you can step out and look at a painting and say that's a bad painting, and you have a bunch of reason and experience to say so. But if you
Yeah.
talk to someone else who's never took up a fucking paintbrush, they might look at a painting and say that's really good, and that's why as artists we're like, no, this is really bad.
It's our responsibility to
It's-
teach people
Again, dude, that's all.
what sucks.
People can buy what they want. That's
I
like
know.
what I think. You
They
know?
will, and they do, and it's fine. And the market is big enough.
That's
for
why you go
everyone.
to. That's why you go to those art expos, and you're like, wow, this is really not great, but people are paying $25,000 for it.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's just someone figured out some equation that worked for them, and I think that's okay because that's just what society is, and like you can't really like fight society. You just got to find your own way through it.
I disagree.
You can change yourself more than you can change the world. You know? So if you can find a way through it on your own, then that's what's important. And just like find a way to be fucking happy. Because if you just gotta go and try to like fight society all the time, that's what's gonna make you unhappy.
You have to fight society a significant amount if you're an artist, though. Otherwise, what are
Yeah,
doing?
but you do that by being
Propaganda?
yourself and changing what yourself is and just doing what you're doing, and you'll do that in a domino effect. But if you just kind of seek out trying to be like, I need to change this,
Mhm.
like I think you can do that in certain ways, yes, but like I think that kind of shit always like fucks me up because I'm always thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, society needs to do this and da da da. But like to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, none of that even matters because my thoughts are meaningless to be honest. Because none of that even like matters. None of this fucking
Good
to me matters.
attitude.
It's a very nihilistic and like
Well,
existential dread way to look at
I
it.
don't
But
know.
you know,
I don't know. I
To-
think that you have to be aware of that.
I think honestly, dude, to me, I think why I think nothing matters helps me a lot. It's just because when you find something that does matter in all this meaningless abyss, that's like what you should really be fucking focusing on. So the fact that you can paint or that, you know, you can act or someone who can find like any type of creative means to do something that's extended from themselves, like that's what's like important to me in life.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it's like,
So, on the subject of nothing really mattress, a friend of mine who's now dead, so a corpse I know,
mhm.
he used to write nothing really mattress on mattresses when he would find them in alleyways.
Hmm.
I thought that was funny.
Nothing really mattress.
But I think that's a really interesting and positive spin on life and art.
On nihilism and
Well,
meaningless abyss.
I don't know that you sounded nihilistic to me when you
It's
said
not-
all that.
it's
I think you
just,
sounded pretty idealistic still, and I think that that's you know that's a positive in my worldview.
To me, I think. To me, it's important just to remember how fucking small you are in comparative to like what everything is. Like you're just a speck of dust in the wind, and that's like something that like humbles me and keeps me grounded. I think.
There's songs written about that. That very
Exactly.
fact.
Yeah, that's something I always like think about in life, where it's like I want to just be able to displace myself out of my conscious like head because I feel like I have all these distractions all the time in life from what we're talking about, like society, and like what we're talking about, like what we find distasteful in society that we want to change, and like why, like, oh, I got to get to work at this time, I got to fucking do this, I got to do that. Like, I like to just sometimes try to like displace myself out of that and just like try to just have like a absent thought experience where you're not having to think about all the fucking things you have to do.
How do you do that? How do you get out of your head?
Like by meditating.
Are you in your head as we speak?
Oh yeah.
To an extent. I just find myself kind of analyzing everything
Mm-hmm.
the two of you are saying, and kind of I guess it would be like following a like group on a trail, you know, maybe 25 yards behind, and just sort of like, did they drop anything? Is there covering up the tracks? You know, I don't know, something like that where...
We didn't cover anything yet, right?
What?
I don't think we covered anything yet.
I don't know.
Just like considering, I guess would be the word I'd use.
Mhm.
And like, do I, not even thinking of if I have anything to add, but more just like the mattress thing, or the dust in the wind thing, or like sometimes even just briefly like what you said about the, like being at your first music festival.
Mhm.
I don't believe I've ever been to a music festival.
Yeah.
I've worked at many, but I often at them look around and I'm like, are people fucking paid to be here? Like, are you fucking nuts? Like, it's
I haven't gone to one in a while, I understand that.
I don't know about overwhelming, but it's like, to be, I guess I look at a festival the same way I look at it as like a waiting in line for like the new, what the hell do people wait in line for? The new shoes or the new
Sure.
iPad, iPod, eyeball. I'm like, you're gonna do that? Like, you're gonna wait in line for this spicy chicken that makes people violent and out of control? Like, can't you see what's happening here? I, if not for having the purpose, I'm there to do this certain job that they've hired me to do, and if not for that, I would feel almost naked if I was to just be there. It's like, what do I do?
So not your vibe.
I have to be
Yeah,
around.
right.
Like, I mean, it could be. I don't know. It's
I
like,
haven't been to one in a long time either, and I find it stressful myself.
I used to like,
So I get it. I get that.
dude,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
COVID, I was like chasing like Burning Man events and like fire festivals, and I was for like 3 years straight, all I did was like spin fire for performing and like
Yeah.
just do like the clown gig shit where I'm just literally doing like fire spinning. And yeah, no, I mean, festivals for me was just like a nice, like, to be fair, honestly, like I think the festival scene is way more appealing to like a younger generation. Like if you're like
Yeah, that seems.
18
that's
to like
yeah.
25, like I see it really appealing to people that age, because like it's a place you can be really free and like do what you want, in the sense of like no one's gonna judge you for being weird, or like you have an experience of like all these people don't give a shit about like, and because like I feel like in society a lot of the times I'm like always having to be a certain person, but at a festival like you can act as weird as you want and no one's gonna look at you like, oh, I'm like,
yeah, that's
and,
true.
and honestly, when you were talking about festivals too, I feel like there's something to be said about, there's a lot of different environments in different festivals. Like you could be talking about a festival that, I'm trying to think of some on top of my head, but like I think like Rolling Loud I think is the name of one, but that's like, there's ones that have like straight up frat boys that are like, you know, not like being really trashy and stuff like that, but then you have ones that are like way more hippie-ish, or like ones that are more like kind of like a little more like raunchy hippies, or like then you have some that are like more like these kind of like heavy headbanger kind of fest. Like I don't know, there's like different vibes to different festivals, and they attract like different artists will attract different crowds.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely been to really bad festivals that I'm like, I wish I wasn't here. The infrastructure sucks. They have terrible porta potties. They don't have any type of like anything good for food wise, all this stuff. But then I've been to some that have like the most beautiful art installations and like the most beautiful murals being done, and like just like you can walk through, like I know like Electric Forest is a really famous one that's like up this, like around this area, not here but in Michigan, that's like closer to get to. But that festival is just like a forest of lights and color and paint and art.
Ecstasy and mushrooms.
So like, yeah, like there's drugs involved, but like it doesn't have to be about the drugs. Like I know like it is drug culture. Like there's no doubt about it.
It's hard to be around people who are on that many. It's hard to be around that many people who are on drugs.
Yes. Yeah.
And as part of the culture of the event, and be sober and enjoy myself.
I think honestly, I would disagree, because I've been to festivals. You know, I've been to festivals high and I've been to festivals sober, and honestly, like I just have a good time being around a bunch of people who are just enjoying themselves. And like, again, there's different festivals. Okay, so like I've been to festivals where it's just like everyone around me is like trashy as fuck, and I'm like, this is just disgusting. But then I've been to festivals where everyone's just having a good time. They're really nice to each other, and they're just like very joyful and like smiles everywhere, and it's like. That's what I enjoy, and not everyone's on drugs. You'll be surprised. There's actually.
Oh, I'm exaggerating.
But like, there's festivals that literally will have like a section of camping that's sober camping for people who don't want to be around drugs in the campsites, and they'll just have like, this is all sober. You can't do drugs here, and like people are really nice about it. Like I've experienced that, but that's not every festival. So when like what Dale's talking about, I agreed with too, because I've seen festivals where I'm like, you paid to be here. Like, I've been to festivals where I just performed, so I was getting paid to be there as a job, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, y'all are, like, nasty. Like, this is fucking trash. And, like, I would never perform at that festival again just because I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. But, you know, I think music festivals are a way to just, like, get away from society and be a part of something that's more kind of a communal, like, kind of, I don't know, kind of just like a little, like, primitive communal thing where everyone's just dancing the music, vibing to the same sounds, but like, you know, it's not everyone's vibe. Because I'm at my age now, I would still go to a music festival, but I would be very different. I would want to go camp somewhere that's very quiet and nice and pretty, and not like in the middle of all this chaos, because that's like too much for me now.
You're 27, is that what you said?
I'm 26 now.
26.
But, yeah, it's just like,
that's on the cusp.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
The 27 club, right?
I actually just sold all of my fire props. So I sold I had like over like $1,000 worth of fire props basically. That's good. And because I used to just perform.
Well, that's good, because you should be careful until you're 28.
What do you
mean? You don't want to die when you're 27.
Oh yeah.
Then you can take up the dangerous action again.
No, I mean honestly, I might do it for fun again, but like I more did it to focus on art, because I was like really like, I was in two different worlds art wise, and I kind of was like, I need to just like focus on art, so I sold all my props off for money and just like put that money towards art related projects. And
cool, smart.
But yeah, no, I think music festivals have a place in the world for people, but I really don't think it's for everyone. I think there's some festivals that are way more like family wholesome. They're a lot not as like, let me go rave this shit. It's like, you know, like just festivals where you can listen to like nice live music kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it has a place in the world, but I wouldn't say that all of them are great, because I've definitely been to really terrible festivals that are like terribly planned. I mean, I don't know if you watched the documentary on Woodstock '99 yet.
Yeah, I did.
It's fuck. That's
Did you?
A great example.
Have you seen that one?
It's on Netflix right now. I don't know if you watched it.
Pretty extreme.
I'm afraid I have not.
It's crazy how much they fucked up that festival.
Well, sure. Was it Limp Bizkit, or was it Red Hot
Chili
Peppers,
mix.
or was
it was like a mix of everyone.
Organization?
Well, it was like a mix of. I think it was the organization for sure, but they didn't like understand because that's what I was talking about before, like the crowds that get brought in by certain artists. They didn't understand the fucking type of crowds that were going to come in by Limp Bizkit or whatever. Because it was a weird mix of people. But they had a lot of like aggro fucking men just like ripping shit apart at the end, that fucking festival it looked like.
Right, I know they focused a lot on that in that documentary.
Well, it's true though.
They really, really, really were highlighting that.
It's true though. I mean, like if you look at the video, it is just a fucking bunch of white dudes ripping shit apart.
Yeah.
That are just pissed off at the system, which I don't blame anyone for being mad at the system, but you don't have to like take it out on a festival.
Mm-hmm. Give them something to break, as the wise man once said.
You know those? You ever hear? Do you remember those? Like, I don't know if they still exist. I don't know if they still exist, but do you remember hearing about those like trash parks
Where is it? Yeah.
for kids? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like
Trash parks
there's
for
like
kids?
there's like some I don't know. I wish we could just look up shit.
Garbage Pail Kids.
No, it's like this. Like they actually had parks that are meant for kids to run around in to just like fuck around and not trash, but just like random pieces of wood and scrap and like.
So this is like the one in St. Louis.
No,
museum?
it's not. It's not the museum. It's like something that they used to do to like so kids can like be around like danger or something like that. Like because like. That's the idea I'm having for adults, where like maybe we should give adults parks to be around and just like be able to just break shit and get angry.
That'd be good. Don't they have those rooms
have
that
the
you can
angry
rent
rooms.
and break
A
furniture?
rage room.
Yeah, they do have rage rooms.
I've never been to one, but I could use it.
Honestly, it sounds like a good like work outing. You know, take your whole fucking work out there.
What do you think, Rage Room?
Rage world.
Mm-hmm. That's like the
I live in a world of rage.
Oh, could you expand on that?
I mean, everywhere I look, I see things that piss me the fuck off,
Yeah, of course.
including myself.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
I think they should institute a second level of driver's ed and get half these fucking schmucks on wheels off the fucking road.
What would it be like?
It's like merge or die. Like, learn how to fucking merge. Or, like, just now, I was almost in I probably wouldn't have made it here had this actually gone down, but I was basically stuck behind this guy who's spitting out of his driver's side window, which I find, I don't know, I've always felt the word repulsive to be a bit, you know, like, really, you're going there? But I was repulsed by this fat fuck who fucking decided to spit out of his window. His face looked like a fucking skinned turkey. And he's talking on the phone, but I don't know, for some one of those people where like his phone is like a distance from his face. Like, yo, and then I was fucking talking to Veronica about my fucking balls. Oh, she didn't want to hear no more about my balls. I'm like, look, you fucking fuck. So I can't, like, because of how he's driving, I can't go past him one way or the other. So finally I try to make a left. And by then I'm so distracted. And I was also probably, you know, having some other subconscious thoughts about, like, I don't know, fucking, like, Child's Play Chucky as, like, a vigilante where he's like, playtime's over. And, like, he's got, like, a Tommy gun and a cigar. And he just, like, shoots up a bunch of mobsters. And he's like, don't fuck, as a great man once said, don't fuck with the Chuck. Anyway, so because of that, I was distracted and tried to turn left in a left lane with no left arrow. Instead, it was actually a full-on green light. And I find myself face to face with some other car. And it's like two old women, and they're just like, ah! And I fucking just slam on the brakes. Try to turn left again as they passed me, but you know, someone else is showing up. By now, I'm the most hated man in the intersection. So I immediately pull an evasive maneuver as I cut all the way to the right. And I think driving so much in a city like this has conditioned me to always check the mirrors for people in the bike lane, which I feel like a lot of people don't even consider.
Yeah. I failed a driving. I almost failed a driving test for that very thing in
Really?
San Francisco. Yeah. And go on.
Well, there wasn't a biker, and there wasn't a which I knew there wouldn't be, just because we're in the very absolute middle of the intersection. But there's no there's like two car length gaps before the next car will get to where I am. So I basically can cut all the way to the right, and I go through. And now I'm stuck at the next red light, which is like right the fuck there. So basically, anyone within a surrounding, in the entire radius of this is just like, boo, fuck you, hey, you're a jerk. And I was just like taking it, I was like, come on, you're not gonna throw shit, like, so ultimately, I got here.
Which is great.
And secondly, there would be situations like that in this class where you'd be like, can you avoid certain death to get to a podcast? But it's every fucking day. I see it on like the freeway or the highway. There's miles and miles and miles of open road. All you have to do is go a certain speed, press the gas hard enough, and control the direction your car is going, and you'll, get there in a timely manner. But instead, these people are just like, there's fucking 100 yards between you and the car in front of you. What are you doing?
Honestly, it makes me so mad when people are going like 55, 45 in the fast lane, and I'm like, bro, this is the most dangerous thing you could probably do on a highway, actually, because people are just fucking flying around them. I'm like, this is so bad.
It's like cutting food with a dull knife. Same level of danger.
It's deceptively
The
dangerous.
other thing I hate is motherfuckers going on like the fucking side road, not the
and passing everybody.
Yeah, just like going
The
all
shoulder.
the way down, like the shoulder. Yeah, that's what it was called. I can't remember. Dude, just going straight through all the way down.
That happens every day on my way to work. I see at least 2 people do that.
See, I wish
Very
they
funny.
would. I wish that when that happens, that like that's where Chucky the vigilante should come in. Like there should be a guy who,
just be Tommy going
who
up.
patrols the fucking side of the road. And right when that happens, he rappels down from the overpass and just lights your shit up, and send
Like
a
Spider-Man
message
style.
to the right. And like they should have like in
I've seen state troopers like pull over those people before, like at least twice, but I don't know how many fucking times that happens. It's not enough.
They could put spike strips
That'd be
on
so
the- in-
fucking
on the-
hilarious.
on the,
oh my god.
on all the shoulders.
It'd be
It just
awesome.
like comes up and then it's like
You
Sure.
should have like
That'd be so
It would
That'd be
detect
so
if a
dangerous.
car is coming. Oh,
Imagine
I know. You
going
kill
60
it.
douchebag detected.
Yeah. Let me just kill like 5 other fucking pedestrians in this whole fucking traffic.
You know,
I mean, if
You gotta break
they're
a
gonna
few
drive
eggs.
on the shoulder, they deserve to fucking die.
Them and the other fucking 4 people probably did nothing to do
And they're
with it.
innocent passengers.
Yeah. They like hit a truck.
I'm
The
trying
truck
to get
hits a
this-
whole
I don't
fucking
know.
9
You hang
cars.
out with the people that bad. I mean, are you really innocent?
No, they probably, I'm sure they did something.
Yeah, I mean, you are the company you keep, I think is the phrase, right? It's another cliche, it's a fun one.
And by keep, do you mean in prison?
What do you mean?
The company you keep,
Mm-hmm.
is that to say you keep them from
That's a-
escaping?
What?
Or keep them
Like a
from
hostage?
leaving?
That's a good slogan, by the way, for some company.
Or would it be like the company
Right.
you have? Or
Nest Farm, the company you keep.
do you remember when
Right.
we...
Yeah,
It's
but
a good branding
wait,
slogan.
what do you
I
get
like
that?
Net-
The
When
company.
I'm
Sorry,
getting
I went
at,
off on a totally
when you
different
look at a
thing.
map,
Okay.
it is not borders that you see, but property lines. Lines for fences. Fences for farms. Human farms.
I'm so confused.
We are the livestock, my friends.
Oh my god, what the
We are the company that they keep.
What is that? That the company keeps.
Right.
We're the company.
The company keeps you.
Yeah. What is that from? You said that was a documentary. I think you were telling me about.
I don't know. It was one of those things on YouTube where it's like
Conspiracy.
Illuminati 666,
Right.
like Beyonce and Jay-Z you know, are like related to Hannibal or like, you know, and he's like,
Hannibal Lecter.
Man, talk about someone who really fell from grace. Hannibal.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean
I respected
saying grace
him.
before dinner, or I don't know what you mean here. Where are you going with this?
Saving grace.
Like he went from like an iconic, like almost Darth Vader level persona, you know? Like he was like the Terminator, Darth Vader, Hannibal Lecter.
True.
Now he's like a joke.
I don't know. I think Mads Mikkelsen played him pretty well in the TV series. Did you see that one?
I don't know.
It was
I kind of
good.
gave up on
He was
him
great. He was
after
great. He really did. a good
Hannibal
job.
Rising really soured my punch bowl. If you know
Sure.
what I mean.
Yeah, that wasn't.
You want the last one of these?
Whoa, what are those? Terracotta?
Those?
There's only one, but you know, it's 5 milligrams.
5 milligrams LSD.
No, not
Really?
LSD.
No.
Mystery?
THC. I'm sure.
THC,
Right?
CBD, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Pretty good though. Like it works pretty well.
That's legal here in Chicago. We can do that, folks.
I know, right?
Oh, I said the word.
We are the livestock.
I will.
Are the lives.
I said the word. I said my least favorite word.
What?
Folks.
So why do you
Yeah.
not like that word? Explain
I don't like it.
why.
I feel like it feels totally unnatural when it comes out of anyone's mouth in the Midwest.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go see
It
my
seems-
folks later.
Totally
Howdy, folks.
unnatural.
Howdy,
It
folks.
seems completely contrived. And it's like
So do you not like folk music?
no, I love folk music.
But you don't like the word folk.
I don't like folks.
Oh, you don't like folks.
Yes.
What
What
about
about Volkswagens?
Volkswagens are fine.
Okay, so you're okay. Just the word itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks. I don't like it being
Is it-
used in order to make yourself seem like a more friendly, agreeable person.
Oh, okay.
Or like,
Like you're trying to sell a used car.
well,
Like, what up, folks? You trying to look at this car?
what if you can't really
Slash
pronounce
foot.
things very well and you're like, oh, check, hey, James, Adam, look, I bought a Volkswagen. You know? And you're like, oh,
I bought a
damn,
Volks.
that's somehow worse.
Wait, so
Or-
what if he was like, hey, look, I got a folks, and then he had a call going, and he's like, oh, sorry, and then like you just got left off on folks. Like, would that bother you?
I think it's
Or you were shocked
likely.
with
I think it- I think
100,000
it's most-
folks.
So I met these nice folks over there. They're gonna buy me a beer. You not like that? Like, what if
I
they-
think that's the context where it, I mean, sure, that wouldn't make any
Like,
sense
what a
if you were to say that
folk.
to me.
Full
It just does not seem
folk.
accurate. Like
Folks,
that is not your dialect.
I'm so
Not even-
folk.
No, it's
even
not.
close. So when I hear someone say it, it just sounds like it's not in their vocabulary or dialect.
Folk.
So if we go,
You're like, what is
if we
happening?
take our geographic location and move it to the south,
There you go.
then folks is okay.
Absolutely
None they-
reasonable.
So if you're in Florida and a gator came up to you and was like, "What up, folks?"
But here, Chicago, I
You
think-
needed
I
those
think
sandals
Chicago-
to repel it, man.
That's
You didn't have the sandals.
the alligator sandals.
You should buy it. This is Shark Tank now. You should
Sandal.
buy the idea. Can I say that?
You
Is
know
that
what? I
copyright?
was actually.
Which one?
Just I don't know, saying anything that's not that like I don't know, saying a different podcast or not a podcast, saying a different show.
Oh, everything's copywritten. So we really shouldn't be saying anything right now at all, actually.
Oh, okay.
Just
Let's just look at each other.
Yeah.
Folko.
We
I
can
was
just say.
gonna-
Wait, what other words do you not like? Can we make a whole sentence that you just would hate?
Other words I don't like.
Yeah, give me a whole. Yeah, actually, this be. What other words do you not like? So folks.
I think I don't like folks.
Okay, that's a good one already. We got a fucking a person. We just need a place and a thing, right? What's the I don't know. How do you write? How do you make words?
I don't think I want to give this much information about myself away.
About stuff words you don't like. What about? I don't know.
It's too telling if I start going deep.
I know, but this isn't. This is just like okay, fair.
No,
Not gonna
I
pressure
think,
you. It'd be funny to make a sentence though that you hate the most.
yeah, okay, maybe I'll play along. I think that, what do I hate? What words?
I'll be honest with you. If someone asked me that, I have no fucking clue.
Sociopath? I hate that word.
Oh,
I
actually,
hate
what about
the overuse and
subjective?
the misuse of that word.
Do you like the word subjective?
Subjective in the right
terms?
context.
So what about like a sociopath is being very subjective about a painting, and he thinks that his folks painted it.
Well,
but instead it was moist.
The sociopath thought that all paintings are of equal value and significance.
Ooh.
Because taste is subjective.
Hmm.
Or no, because juxtaposition would be another funny one that I dislike. Stupid word.
Honestly, to me, I think all art is completely meaningless until someone says it's like meaningful.
Yeah.
So that's funny that you say
Most
that.
things are meaningless.
I mean, anything's meaningless until someone's like, hey, this got some meaning to it.
Agree with that.
This is actually, I'm sorry I asked that question, because now I'm thinking in my head if someone asked me that
Of
question.
your words?
No, of like, yeah, I can't even think really, actually. Like, what words do I really not like?
Well, it's easy to think of the words, but I don't want to go
deep
on
into
record
it.
for saying I don't like certain words.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ask you terrible questions.
You're fine. I'm the one with the hang up. That's not a terrible question. I think it was fun. I was just being poor sport.
But again, like I'm trying to think like my own words I hate and I can't even like it. But wow.
Okay.
How are you feeling about your masterpiece?
Well, we're about an hour in.
Oh damn, really?
I guess so. I mean, I didn't even believe it when I looked. But yeah, time flies when you're
Is it so unbelievable to think that we live
in a livestock? We live in a society.
Animal Farm wasn't fiction.
We are the farm. What do they need?
What?
What do they need?
Who?
The people farming.
Fear.
That was a really good fucking answer. That was brilliant.
We all need fear. We need to be feared in order to feel valuable, I think. I'm just making that up. That's not true.
I was like, are you just making an...
What do you think of people? How do you interact with people who need to be feared in order to feel comfortable?
I don't.
Immediate disrespect.
I just
and subversion.
I just don't interact with them.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to make me feel fear, why am I talking to you?
I've got a good book on this subject. Maybe we should break that out and take a look at it.
There's Power versus Force.
No, it's so much more fun. The title is even fun.
The cat.
Power on all fours.
The power bottom manual. It's like I bottom from the top. Okay. Please don't get off of me.
So, there's that title. Yeah, that's a fucking.
Yeah, let me switch to the camera here.
Planet of the Grapes.
Little angsty.
Can you describe the title?
Do I have to read it?
Well, you can read an excerpt. The way I found that book was in Brew Cafe in Wicker Park. I picked it up. I opened it up to a random paragraph, and I started reading, and I couldn't even believe it.
Shout out, Juice.
How insightful and beautiful and countercultural it was. It was so good.
So there's all right.
So I bought it.
Wow.
Why don't you just read it aloud just without reading it yourself first?
I don't read.
You don't know how to read.
I'm just fucking with you.
I knew it.
These are some grapes you got here.
No one here can read.
Are they good?
The grapes are.
I would call them breathtaking.
They did look.
Is there a bridge from
juicy.
the concept of Pavlovian conditioning to the deeper psychological understanding only in those? What is that? Pavlovian?
Pavlovian?
Pavlovian. Okay, I was like, I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. And then theoreticians who deny modern depth psychology, does there exist a conflict between concepts? What the fuck?
That light on your face right now is very dramatic. It's very funny. Okay, this seems like a skit from Wonder Shows. And have you seen that show?
Beat Kids.
Yeah, you've seen that show then. Do you
This
remember-
man makes $1 million a day
Do you remember
for
this?
minimum wage.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a very
puppet
funny
show
Yeah, the kids
that
show.
has very,
How old is this?
very our kind of
How old is
humor
the show that
where
we're
it's
talking
This 2000s.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? 2008?
when I saw it, it was 2004 or 5.
Okay.
And like for example, they have this
pretty
segment,
funny.
like a man on the street segment with kids, kids on the beat, beat
on
kids,
street.
and then it has like a bunch of punching and kicking sound effects, and it's like beat kids.
Are they just
beat
are
kids?
they beating
It's so
children?
good.
That's what they do.
No,
Are they
but
beating
it's just-
children?
It's like a fake.
It's like a
fake
kid with
show
a
for
trench
kids.
coat
Kind
and
of
like a
kind
hat,
of
and they're
snuff
like,
TV show are you watching?
you're like,
It was
hi,
on
we're at the
MTV.
human livestock farm interviewing people, and it's like this man thinks he's a goat.
It's so
Was he a goat though?
No,
Was it just an
he
actual
was just
goat?
like a factory.
I wish it was
worker.
just a real goat that they're interviewing. You know,
Me too.
honestly.
Okay.
Or that gator we were talking about.
We could try role playing if you'd like.
I don't.
Eh,
I mean, you have a cat mask.
Aggregate.
There is a cat mask.
All right. Well,
There's also something like a gimp mask, but it's not. It's
gotta say, I pulled that card and I fucking hated it.
Which one? What was
I'm not
it?
gonna read it.
Okay.
When do you feel out of place?
At festivals.
There you go. That's a good one.
Wait, when do I feel out of place? At my own funeral.
You feel out of place at your own funeral?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be
Can you
here.
elaborate then?
So I definitely am not there.
Right.
But everyone thinks I'm there. 'Cause
In body, but so you believe you have a spirit?
I have this weird, because I grew up religious.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How religious? Or well,
kind
religious how?
like Catholic. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
But like basically, I grew up kind of religious until I was like 8, like in family wise, you know.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of remember my parents asked me if I wanted to go to church anymore or something, and I was just like, nah, not really. And then they like put me in Boy Scouts or something.
That's pretty good. It's just about the same.
Yeah, and so like basically, at one point I got really agnostic and spiritual, and then at one point after that, I kind of just got into this whole thought process of like, why am I worrying about what happens to me after I die? Like when it happens, it happens. So I'm just kind of like gotta just, live my life as I like want to be, and just kind of like live by good karma instead of like. And like to me, I'd rather live very like socially aware and just like spatially aware, like everything around me, and then also just making sure I keep to being good deeds and like not be a fucking shitty person. Like if I have a fucking potential of doing something good, even if it's a small fraction of something, just holding a door for somebody or fucking that kind of thing. But I think religion kind of just like held me back a lot of like thinking about what's gonna happen when I die and all these like different things that I just kind of I think it was Alan Watts actually, like some fucking thing he was talking about, and it was something I think he said this, and I'm gonna say it a little differently, but it was basically like life is kind of like a river, and you have only one bucket to fill up, and like you can choose to try to sit there and get as much of the river as you can possible, but no matter what, you're only going to get a bucket full when you leave.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter to me to worry about like where that river's going or where it starts and anything like that. It just matters of like what you can fill like your current bucket up with. Because that's like that to me is like the whole fucking universe.
Wait, your current bucket, like the river?
Like
current?
like when you walk up to the river, it's
current,
like
or like
it's
the
like
present
it's
bucket?
like it's like the universe to me is like this river, and it's just always overflowing, and you can only bring in your lifetime like one bucket to it, and you can worry about all this stuff and where you are and all and like where it's got to go, and but you can really only bring that bucket, and like that's just kind of like that's just a figurative way of saying like living in the moment.
No, I understand.
But like I just kind of like living by that standard because like
nice.
it's kind of silly to me to just sit here and be like, oh, like what's gonna happen to me when I die, That's my own opinion. Like, I'm not against anyone
Uh-huh.
wanting to think different or have a disagreement with that. I think that's actually just fine. For me, it was just like, I don't want to sit around worrying about what's going to happen when I die.
You don't want to be obsessed with death?
No, because I think I've already...
There's a skull right above your head.
Well,
exactly for that reason. I'm obsessed with death.
Obsessed with death.
I want to remind everybody that they're going to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen. You can...
And I'm going
Sooner
to be happy
than they
when
say.
everyone dies.
Have you ever had
that means
a-
that they
Or
lived-
later.
They
Have you
lived
had
out their
any-
whole journey.
Have you had a near-death experience?
Today.
Oh yeah, you mentioned you wanted to
Yeah.
talk a little about near-death experiences. Have I? I have saved lives
Mm-hmm.
by breathing air into lungs and using someone's lungs to
What was that
to
for?
have them breathing.
What situation were
This
you
was a
in?
drug overdose.
Oh, okay.
So I was unwitting that somebody in my
Mhm.
vicinity was taking drugs and someone else was on drugs and needed help.
Mm.
And
Was it...
they
So
came
when
to
you
me
say...
for help, so I instinctually took the person's body and breathed
Mhm.
for them.
So,
So that was quite an experience.
when you
a
said
memory.
you saved people's lives, was that just like one person in that predicament, or...
Have I saved lives again? Probably unwittingly. Like when I don't kill people.
I think that just means you're
I'm saving
a
lives.
stable human being.
Every time I walk out the door and don't kill someone,
Jesus
I save their
Christ.
life.
That must be a crazy experience.
It's not incorrect. I mean,
That's crazy. Have you ever had a near-death experience?
A couple, or a few rather. On one of my trips to Florida, the plane malfunctioned and the power went off and we started to drop at a very rapid rate. And I remember this random, probably teenage girl, I was maybe 7, 8, 9 at the time. So she was older than me, but not a full-grown adult. She was sitting next to my dad, and I remember her grabbing his hand, and just, she was basically, everyone was screaming, and it seemed as though, this was it. And then just sort of out of nowhere, the plane just kind of stabilized in the power. Well, folks, sorry about that. We'll be in Gator Country before you know it. Thanks. And
Fucking Florida.
and
Same
she
trip.
lets go, and you could kind of see it's white, where she had been squeezing my dad's hand, and she just looked so embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Don't touch me, you fucking bitch."
Whoa.
And no, I'm joking. But my dad is very gruff, stern. He's one of those people where it's like, "Thanks for shopping at IKEA, sir. Can I have your zip code?" And he's like, "Why do you need my fucking zip code?"
your dad's Clint
And I'm
Eastwood.
just like,
Yeah, right.
Your
dad's a monster.
I like to say that he would. I keep asking people, "Have you seen that new Russell Crowe movie, Unhinged?" It's basically my dad's life story. It's about someone who cuts Russell Crowe off on the street, and he demands an apology, and they refuse. So
Holy
he spends
shit.
the whole rest of the
Serious?
film killing their friends and family.
Seriously?
And, yeah.
This happened to me at a bar last night.
Was it
Very
when
similar.
my dad was there?
No, I went to a bar for a drink and I made a beeline for the bathroom when I got there. I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom first. So I was just kind of walking slowly behind this couple who was in front of me, and then I sort of brushed the shoulder of this girl who was at a table who just kind of moved over. And so I would say I technically bumped into her as she moved into me. And I turned and said, mouthed, put my hand up, sorry. And I went to the bathroom. And I got to the urinal, and someone came in the door who was in her party, and he said, "Hey, just so you know, when you bump into someone, you're supposed to say, 'I'm sorry,' or 'excuse me.'" And then he shut the bathroom door. It was
Christ.
very strange. It ruined my drink, I'll say that much. For the first half of it.
So Did it escalate further?
No, that was it. I looked for them for a minute.
No.
And I thought, like, where did they even go? But it was a misunderstanding. But that guy's fervor, I would call it, made me.
Want to bump into him and then
I
say
wanted-
I'm sorry to his face.
But I chose to save his life.
Overly.
I saved his life by not killing him.
Maybe we should go find him
Yeah, he's fine. He'll find himself soon enough.
tonight. No, but
God.
seriously, do you
Yes.
remember what he looked like?
It doesn't make a difference.
Well,
Anyhow, I derailed your story, maybe.
I don't really.
How about you,
Speaking
James?
of derail,
You must have a near-death experience.
I have one, definitely, but
Let's hear it.
yeah, I was driving. I was trying to like Oklahoma or something.
Mhm.
It was like 4 a.m. and I was super sleep exhausted, and I was just trying to get to a rest stop where I could sleep.
Mm.
And I basically just like, I remember like listening to music. I was listening to like Saba actually, and then I like basically was so fucking tired I couldn't put another album on, and my shit just kind of like stopped playing. And I basically just kind of like fell asleep at the wheel, and I woke up going probably like 55 miles an hour at least.
Mhm.
And I was like in the, like my whole left, at the time I was with my girlfriend at the time or whatever.
Mhm.
But basically I was in this like left lane. It was the right lane or whatever, but it's like one of those kind of like, you have a big ass grass patch like between the two sides of the roads. And I was just like in the left side hitting that fucking sound, the thing that makes your tire go off, whatever, when you hit it on the side of the curb.
Yeah.
So like I passed out and I hit that, and like I didn't even like hear it going off, and then like I pretty much woke up to like my ex whatever like fucking screaming, and like I literally like woke up freaked out, and I jolted the tire or the fucking wheel to the right,
Mhm.
and I basically kind of went to the right, and then went to the left, went to the right, started swerving hard, and then I went to the left one more time, and then basically the car fucking flipped out, and it was like a Toyota Camry, so I'm just like in this like.
Flipped out?
Yeah, it fucking. So I flipped the car like 5 times, going like
Oh.
55 miles an hour, and the car fucking like, it fucking crushed itself so hard and like wrapped into a tree, and the car was kind of like wrapped around, and then the car kind of like it like fell down at the end, and then like literally it was like so late that it's like luckily this like truck driver fucking saw it all happen, and so he actually like pulled over like immediately and like got to us, and like basically we like. We're like probably like a good 25 feet or far further, just like out the side of the road into this like grass patch where you can barely see the car.
Mm.
But then yeah, no one got hurt, nothing. But all my shit that was in the car was just like fucking everywhere.
Dang.
And then because I was going on like a camping trip basically.
Okay.
And but yeah, no. So then if I can just remember, like they brought an ambulance, or whatever. They checked on us, and I told them like, I don't need to be in an ambulance and whatever, and like they were like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to like pay for that, you know."
Mhm.
So then the tow truck driver that came in, he actually ended up driving us to his house, and like because the car was completely totaled. So then I had family come out and like pick us up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy. And then for like a straight month, I think I was like pretty fucking shook.
Were you paranoid?
I was paranoid driving home pretty hard, but like I got back to driving within like 2 weeks and not like having much of a problem, because what I did have a problem though, because like in Chicago I was fine because it's literally like stop and go
Sure.
or like just on the highway, but when I was going like a little further, that's when I like started to feel more paranoid. But now I don't have like a problem driving at all. Yeah, that was pretty fucking crazy. Now I just definitely don't
Right.
like. I don't go drive when I'm sleeping. Like if I feel sleepy at all in some kind of a way, I just refuse to drive. Because that gives me really
Have
anxious.
you ever been driving and been so tired that you sort of black out, but it must be like some kind of a fugue state, like driving home from work, for instance,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you get to your destination, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, that's like that's
can't believe
that's
that-
the danger though.
That
of,
experience is so,
So that's-
strange.
That's what I was experiencing on that car ride when I was trying to get to a rest stop. I just kept like feeling like I was blacking out,
Mm.
And I just couldn't pull over to the road. You know,
Yeah.
it was like there was no side to pull over, so
Mhm.
a car could easily just like swipe me really easily.
Yeah.
And even like a little like 4 inches of the car, you know what I mean? If that 4 inches just hits your fucking car, your shit's fucked. You know. So yeah, I was trying to find a rest stop, but I was in like a certain area where it's just like a rest stop wasn't for like fucking ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't fucking drive sleepy. That's for fucking sure. It's like fucking dangerous as hell.
All right, duly noted. Don't drive with you when you're sleeping.
I'm trying with anyone when they're sleepy, dude. That shit's fucking dangerous.
Should we go have a little break?
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Yeah. We've been at it for about 70, 80 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So if we take a little break, we can come back for the final
Sounds good to me.
battle.
Get up.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break, and that's just how it's gonna be. So like it or leave it. What are you going to? How are you gonna do that while walking? It's so crazy.
What, rolling a joint?
Yeah, it's like straight out of the 70s. It's so great.
Fucking 90s, baby.
Yeah, fair enough. Amazing.
Finesse.
Absolutely amazing. Look at that sucker.
I think I got one. I'm the stoner and I forgot my lighter.
Can you believe this is legal now? Can you believe it?
Yeah, I gotta smoke weed now.
What a mistake that was.
When I was growing up, I would get arrested for this. I mean, some states you still will.
Yeah.
It just depends where you are. Federally, it's still illegal, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember.
Yeah, it's fine. They'll get over it.
Is that like Amazon or something?
Yeah, I got some carts off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was looking at a bunch of cards and I think I literally was looking at that same card.
Yeah?
Yeah. I honestly just went.
Or better carts.
Well, I honestly went on Craigslist and just bought a bunch of different drawers, and I found like a couple of like tool carts that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of shit on Craigslist stuff.
Alright, so our last little walk was nice.
It was breezy.
Yeah, it was kind of
Very
chilly,
breezy.
huh? It's gonna be like that from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop talking about the weather immediately.
Honestly, I liked how the first day of like fall or whatever was literally just like,
Okay.
yeah, we're about to fucking change this motherfucker.
Oh yeah. I think it's done. And it was very sudden, and it felt brutal. And it made me want to leave the Midwest once again.
We don't have to talk about the weather. I'm sorry. I saw your face and your disappointment in me. Just
We
be
can
like,
go there.
okay.
Let's talk about the weather. Let's make the weather interesting. What is, I mean, this living in Chicago,
I think
garbage? Like sort of.
I think Chicago
garbage
weather-
state of living.
I think Chicago weather though builds a lot of character.
It's gotta change.
I honestly think that Chicago weather builds a lot of character though.
I think that it's character that does not need to be built.
But
Past a certain age.
when you
or
go to
point.
other places, they'll literally like whatever, like San Francisco, where like
Yeah.
it'll like rain and people will be terrified.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'll walk in the pouring rain to go to the store.
Yeah.
Like, I literally have walked to the store in a fucking heavy ass blizzard just to fucking get, some groceries.
Sure.
So
I don't know that would be character building. I think it's just.
kind of is, right?
Well,
Because like
I
you're going through this crazy experience of like, because some people just get that like, it's that idea of like some people get to like live in a like place where it's always like summer year round, so they never have to like experience that, which I'm jealous of. But I think it does have something on the mind, like you get to experience these like dramatic like weather events.
Sure. Okay. So past the age of 10, I feel like that stops being a relevant sort of
Like the snow thing.
struggle that's worth putting up with.
What do you mean? Oh,
I
like,
think that it affects the quality of life to like such a dramatic level
yeah.
that it does not make sense why people are still inhabiting this land.
Yeah, it's for me. It's,
To me.
For me, it's one of those things
Don't
where it's like
understand it.
you just deal with it when you live in Chicago.
Yeah. So
Like that's just what Chicago is. It gets fucking cold as fuck.
the land of the stuck or something. What is it?
I don't know. I called Chicago Swamp City all my life.
Swamp City or Slum City?
Swamp City.
Okay.
Because it's like named after like a stinking onion.
Oh yeah.
So I call it Swamp City because it's like literally a swamp.
Do you like that about it? Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the ruggedness of Chicago that I like, but it also has like really just old school architecture and like a very good homey vibe for me. Like I feel like I just walked into like somebody's home. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Sure.
it's like.
A homie's home.
But I also just grew up like around Chicago and in Chicago, so I just kind of like. It's like where I'm used to, you know. It's no different from someone who grew up in a small town and they want to stay there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who's from like even Texas or Florida or any other like state where they might have grown up in, Colorado, I mean, a bunch of places.
Yeah.
And it's just like to me, it's just all about the experience you have because it's really hard for me to find a city that I like better than Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, like I
Well, I
found
do not
cities.
feel the same. You're different.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like some people feel different, but I've always like felt like, but also my circumstance has to do with more like family and like people I know and things like that. And
Okay.
like I can deal with like winters, like I don't mind winters. And then
You're close with your family then, I take it?
yeah, definitely.
Do you, is that by choice or is that by circumstance?
That's by choice for sure.
Okay.
But the circumstance of like, if I moved away, I wouldn't be like a bunch of my other siblings moved away from like Illinois basically.
Yeah.
So like I kind of was like I don't want to like have my mom and dad not have like anyone around them, you know.
Get out of town.
So yeah, when they move out, I might be thinking differently.
I think,
So like I think I want to like. I would see myself living on the West Coast for sure, but like I've always like dreamt of like moving to a different country, but like that's just such a dramatic change. That's something I can't even like comprehend at this moment.
well, the West Coast is a dramatic change.
That's a dramatic change. Enough. I mean I've been to.
It's hard to come back here and live here again.
So I've been
After
to like.
that, it's go
So,
on.
I mean, I've been to Peru for like 3 months on just like I'm just gonna stay in a different country for the fuck of it kind of thing.
Mm.
And I like lived on such a low budget where like my budget was literally like $1,000, like a little over $1,000 is what I spent.
In Peru.
Yeah, because I was living in like really, really cheap Airbnbs, hostels, and staying with people that I knew. And it's just like a really crazy, like Lima, Peru is a really crazy city because it's literally like summer year round. And people are just very like, pretty nice. And like, there's like everyone's really into arts and music. And like the whole time, all I did was like chill with people who like made music or art. Like it was a really good fucking experience. But yeah, no, I think I just think that like that's something that's somewhere I would probably live, but like it's just such a crazy change to be like I'd have to like learn full Spanish and things like that where like I barely can speak any Spanish at all. I can get like across with a translator and like a friend, you know. But like Chicago just has like a weird taste for me that like I just can't get I think anywhere else. But I've also haven't been to any like I haven't been to New York, which is like probably the first parallel to Chicago I can think of, you know, where it's in the sense of like it's a big city and it's on the like you know the west or the Midwest, you know, kind of thing. Or I guess it's the East Coast, but yeah, you know.
It's a powerful city. That city feels like you're in direct communication with something. It's just like some kind of natural phenomenon that when that many people come together and when it takes that much combination of like that many things for people to survive in that environment, it's really magical. So you meet so many enormous sort of personalities and you see such a different experience of life at such a different level of engagement that it's like good luck trying to coast through life in New York and being able to live anywhere but the street.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's like if you want any quality of life in that city, you have to be pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a truth that I think that's a true thing. It's a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't lived there. I've always wanted to. And I wonder if that could be an option. But I don't.
I don't think I would.
You know, I don't know how to interact with that city. Just yet. I mean, other than just visiting it, which I have done a bunch, and I just love it so much there.
Mm-hmm.
It just would take such a push at this point
Mm-hmm.
that I'm. Yeah, it's easy to put it off.
Have you been to New York?
Whenever you put it off.
No.
No.
Nor LA for that matter.
No?
Hmm.
I think you would both enjoy LA.
I've been to LA. I did not enjoy it as
No?
much. So, I'm gonna rephrase that a little bit more detailed. I actually did enjoy LA in a lot of ways, but I did not really enjoy the people that I interacted with. Which I wouldn't say that all LA people are like.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you have every kind of network you could desire.
That's what I mean. There's got to be like group of people out there that I would really enjoy to be around.
Yeah.
So I think LA is definitely like a really cool city, and there's definitely a lot of arts, like, and like they have a lot of good attractions and things like that. But honestly, I like the beauty of the nature in LA. Like, it has some like crazy nature outside of it.
Griffith Park is enormous. You could just hike there and
you know the Murphys. There. You know the Murphys Ranch at all?
Where is that?
It's like, I don't want to say like the Calabasas area, but it's like up around in like the more. It's like some fancy. I would have to look it up real quick to even remember.
Yeah,
but let me look it up just to see what it is. But I know my name is called Murphy's Ranch, and I went there, and what it is just like, I guess this like abandoned town that was used to fucking like hide, I guess like Nazis or something at some point.
Okay.
But basically, it's abandoned, and people just go there, and like there's just fucking
stuff.
Yeah, film or just do a bunch of graffiti. So just all the infrastructure is like torn down. There's like one building I saw that was
in the park.
It was like in this like park, yeah. And I guess some dude just owned property where people would like fucking live there, and like who were fleeting like the end of like the Nazi era, you know. But I'll look it up. But it's called Murphy's Ranch, and it's not actually hard to get to. You have to park up, like kind of like pretty much.
Where is it?
Put it out real quick.
Is that near Hollywood? Like.
No, so it's actually completely west of Los Angeles and west of Beverly Hills. It's actually it's actually by the Getty.
Okay.
So that's actually that's actually where it's close. It's it's pretty much a part of Will Rogers State Historic Park.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you pretty much can like park up by these like rich mansions, and at the time, of course, LA is super expensive, and I was paying for so many fucking Ubers when I was there that because I was there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was paying for so much Ubers that were just so shitty because they would just cancel on you or take like 25 minutes to get to you. And so I ended up going on like Toro and just renting a fucking Ford Taurus.
There you go.
And it was like cheaper than I was paying for Ubers every day.
I mean, that's true here a lot of the time too.
So crazy.
With apps like Get Around. I used that one before I had a car.
So I used a trash heap of a Ford Taurus and just like drove to this fucking rich ass mansion area, parked my car up in the most like fucking random spot that was not anyone's like property but on the street and had no sign. I was like, all right. And we just walked all the way to the fucking place, and we had to descend down into these stairs that had to be like over 300, 500 stairs or some crazy number.
Yeah.
I had video of it, but it was literally just like all around you is forest and like hillside, and you're just descending into the trees until you're under the trees, and then there's just like these random building infrastructures that are just covered in graffiti. And you just like can walk through and see. It's just like a cool like hike experience, you know. But that's what I liked about Cali was there's just like a lot of like stuff like that, and then the art scene was definitely really cool. Like they had some really good art galleries there. Then I like met some like fire spinning people that I like thought was pretty cool. They have like something called the LA Burn Club there, that they do at a park on like a basketball court pavement. But yeah, no, I think LA is actually a pretty cool city. I just like the people I interacted with sometimes just like really put a bad taste in my mouth, and I think that's just kind of the LA vibe. So I was also like kind of I was there with my girlfriend, Carly Seidelbach, who makes music, and she was like pretty much just working with a producer, and like I feel like sometimes that vibe.
What did you just say? Did you just do a plug?
Yeah, dude, it's my girlfriend.
Could you be more
Fuck you.
specific with it?
Yeah.
Could you? I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean,
What is her music?
I was like, I thought you were coming at me. I was like,
No,
yeah, I'm
not
plugging
at
my
all.
girlfriend.
Not at all.
She's Carly Taylor music, but she does like folk pop music, basically singing.
Taylor spelled T-A-I-L?
Just says
O-R?
Tayollor.
Got it.
Yeah,
Why? Okay.
Totally fucking fucked that up. But no, yeah,
Hey, no, it's out there now.
yeah, no. So yeah, but I just feel like I just feel like LA has a lot of like, oh, I know this person, I've worked with this person, and a lot of just kind of like trying to pull off like, I don't know, like, oh, I'm important, I have reputation kind of thing.
I'm following my dreams and I don't have time for people who aren't.
Kind of like that.
It's like
yeah,
you
in a
get
way.
that so much in that city. I lived there for 4 years, and you do encounter that constantly.
Damn, there you go. So you have way more. I mean, you have way more knowledge than I do about and experience. So like, I honestly think it was a really nice city. I think most American city. I think like
good.
I haven't really been to an American city that I was like, oh, this is like completely trash, because like I don't know. There's got to be a few, but like I don't know. I liked most places I go because there's always something somewhere that's like really like enjoyable, and like there's always something like good food or some type of nature or some type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I remember getting like some of the best food in my life in like the middle of Nebraska at like a random ass diner when I was driving through, and like it was just like I can't remember the place's name, but like I got like fucking gravy and biscuits there, and it was like just amazing fucking biscuits. I don't know, dude. There's always like something somewhere. But I would love to travel more. Like I wish, you know, COVID really like put a heap on traveling for like the like, you know what I mean? It's like I remember like when I really wanted to travel more is when like pretty much like when COVID hit, and I was like, well, fuck, now I can't even fucking go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dale? Were you able to travel? What did you do? Did you bunker down during COVID or during the twilight of it or whatever?
Initially, I went up to Galena, Illinois,
Ooh,
which is where Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa joined forces.
It's amazing.
In the upper left, if you're looking at a map of human farms, it would be the upper left of Illinois, the home of Ulysses S. Grant, actually.
Mm.
I found myself once taking some mushrooms and taking a tour of his childhood home. It was
So you
quite
could get into that.
scenic.
That's cool.
And basically up there, my brother and father and a dear Filipino friend of ours, Johnny T, otherwise known as JT. We basically spent about a good 3 months up there doing nothing but building decks on people's homes, and by night we'd burn we'd go around the woods taking pieces of dead trees that fall, they call it deadfall.
Okay.
And we basically would clear the forest of all the dead wood and cut down trees that were dead, that were basically just going to eventually fall upon some individual.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine their surprise when the trees are all gone. When
They
there's
need it for the human farms.
right. Someone has to build the fences to contain and entrap his fellow or her fellow
So are
man.
these walls just fences?
Before you take down a fence, you must be sure of why it was put up.
What? What was the fence?
This is so wise
Are-
sounding.
Are trees just fences?
Essentially.
Oh man, it just sounds very wise, you know?
Well, I mean, you don't want to let the dog out.
So what happened if
And
you like?
someone's gonna yell otherwise. And
Take
ask
out the
a question.
papers and the trash.
What did you
So
ask?
we burned a lot of shit,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of shit to drink. Every night it was about a nice 30 case.
I don't think
of,
fire and alcohol goes well.
Some bottle of bourbon, a lot of herbs and spices.
So you're putting herbs and spices into your bourbon.
Yes.
So that's a hot toddy, is that correct?
Well, where does cinnamon fall on the spectrum?
Cinnamon is not a spice.
It's
It's
what
not
is it?
true. I actually have a controversial
Is it?
opinion on cinnamon.
So cinnamon and spice.
No, I'm making
Are
that
not
up.
nice
I'm making that
to
up,
each other.
Wait.
Uh,
So, sure. Wait. What do you mean cinnamon is not?
Is there a
Wait,
synonym
I'm
for
kidding. I'm
cinnamon?
completely
Cinnamon's a
joking.
spice, right?
Yeah.
Don't gaslight me.
Yeah.
Is there?
I'm
Mint? Peppermint?
Yeah.
No. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Well, yeah, so we burned a lot of shit, and yeah.
Well, Galena, I'm thinking of going there as soon as, like, in 2 weeks.
I condone that.
What would I do in that place as a
You would collect
rapidly aging man?
You would collect dead wood and
And then
Burn shit.
burn it.
Yeah, that's an option.
You can visit the childhood home of Ulysses S. Grant on or off of mushrooms. You can take a tour of their downtown area, which
Ooh,
does include
that's a good
a
idea.
supermarket called, well, see, for the longest time it was called Dick's, and they are very woefully unaware of, I guess, puns or of like people like us that would take something. It's like at Dick's they had a discount like card called the Dick's Insider card, and it took them a little while before they realized that
No way.
these Dick's Insider cards, Insider, not her,
Right.
or them, or anyone, or
Thou.
that they had become a hot commodity and people were like trading them, and like you couldn't get into certain social clubs without a Dick's Insider card. So people to this day, if there's anyone listening who has a Dick's Insider card, how much? I'll buy. I'm just gonna throw that out there
It's
because
very fun.
there's also around this time I think they have a special like Halloween festival. They have downtown Galena where they now have a CBD shop. They have another like trinkets and knick-knack type things, like a store called Poopsies.
That sounds
They
nice.
have
that's oopsies though.
they have like
Is it what I think?
yeah, it's like petrified molded shit that they like manipulate into certain shapes,
That's
like
exactly
like
what-
honeycomb shit
I expected.
or like popcorn shit, not to be confused with popcorn shrimp.
Yes.
So
So I can go to Poopsies.
you can go to the Happy Joe's, the local pizza parlor, and we were talking about least favorite words.
Yes.
Parlor is perhaps one of my favorite words.
Parlor.
Parlor.
What about like parlay?
It's almost there.
Or banquet hall.
I don't know about that. What about Happy Joe's?
Happy Joe's.
That's right.
In what context?
Happy Joe's is the local pizza parlor,
I see.
and and ice creamery.
That sounds
I
good.
don't know if that's the right. I hope to not offend
I
anyone
think
with
it's
my
ice-
description of Mr. Joe's.
Ice crematory, I think is it.
You're not-
Crematorium. Right.
Ice crematorium.
Is this really factual, or are we?
No, that.
Oh, it's
That is a
beyond
business
factual.
idea.
What, the crematory?
Ice crematorium. That is a business
What if?
concept.
What about the? What
That's
about
for Shark
this? Here's a business concept.
Yeah.
You sell ice cream, but you also have a crematory,
hmm
like somewhere you cremate people.
Well,
Or whatever.
what cheers you up more?
And
than
then it's
ice
a,
cream?
then it's a real
right?
then it's a real animal farm
What
or a real human farm.
what cheers up grieving people more than ice cream? Right?
Man, imagine having
it's
a
the
creme.
perfect
Imagine you
business.
cremate. Yeah, you cremate your fucking.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking?
Yes,
Damn.
that is.
Wow.
Should we do this together, or I don't know? I feel
As
like
long
we
as
would-
we're making people into ice cream.
Oh, we would make the people into ice cream
Yeah.
toppings.
Well, we're just talking about like a human farm. I'm just confused what the human farm is being used for. But if that's what it is, then that just makes sense. But it's really horrific.
Ice cream toppings. I wasn't thinking of making the people into ice cream, but
Well, then why do you
I
have a
guess it-
crematory?
well, because people are depressed when they're cremating their loved ones.
So
And
you
they
say
need
you have
ice
ice
cream.
cream.
They need to be led to believe that they're not.
You just
Their
scoop
loved
fruit.
ones.
You get a free scoop.
Yeah,
Here's the scoop.
Yeah, you get a banana split.
that's fun. I think that's a great idea.
How about a?
I couldn't handle this like
Nah, I can't go there.
Well, I've also like dreamed up the idea with friends of a funeral parlor, and there would be like a conveyor belt that when people are sent into the incinerator in the little cardboard
So,
coffin, there'd be a sound effect, like maybe
Like
like
a
a slide
tomato.
whistle or like a zzz, or like stuff like that.
Well, like a slip and slide.
Like a fart sound.
Funeral parlor.
What?
It's just an idea. Just throwing it out there.
So funny.
Okay. We can talk about serious stuff again if we want to. Do you want to pick one of those cards? We can get real deep real quick.
I don't know, man. These cards are hit and miss right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
Actually, I'll let you. I picked the last one. I guess you should have picked that
Sure.
one.
What cultural or moral values do you hold in high regard, and why?
Oh man.
Okay. You don't have to answer these if you choose not to.
I'm just wondering what the hell that even means.
Cultural values.
Such as, like, don't put ketchup on a hot dog,
Yeah.
or
That's one
you know,
perfect example.
like
How important.
honk if you like ducks. That's a complete lie. I never saw that anywhere.
Well,
Just
I mean, I think honestly the question is like, what's relative to your culture for one, and do you agree with it or not?
well, I mean, it's up to you where you want to take these questions. I think. I think the hot dog.
High
question- the hot
regard.
dog.
Oh, in high regard.
was
Oh.
pretty funny.
And why?
The hot dog one was very funny. There was a
Honestly,
good parallel.
well, that's yeah, that's true. I mean, to me, it's definitely
sacrilege.
to put ketchup.
I mean, to me, it's whatever the fuck you want, but that's kind of disgusting because I feel like the ketchup kind of makes it taste a certain way. It's like
What do you say? It's subjective.
it is. I mean, the fuck, bro. Like fuck.
I mean, it is believed
But we're
that
a fucking.
mustard brings out
It's
the
called.
true
It's the
essence.
It's relative in our culture of Chicago to be like, nah, there's no ketchup on hot dogs.
Right.
But this is just more about like what's like a moral value that you hold in high regard.
Maybe. Maybe it's not.
I believe that you
That's
should
assuming
learn how to
that the
fucking
creators-
merge.
The creators of the deck of cards clearly have a political agenda, and I've removed about half of the cards because they're so incredibly leading questions. They're like, either answer in one acceptable answer as your format for this question we're asking, or you're a monster. It's like they're so clearly leading. It's very funny. I really did remove half of the cards or more. But that's the trouble you get when you go to other people for your thinking.
I mean, I think honestly, just not fucking people over is one.
That's pretty
It's
good.
not robbing people, you know.
What is that?
Like, cause there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people who get into a certain point
Mhm.
where they're pushed into a corner where they do have to rob to like make ends meet. But man, that shit sucks because it's like you push whatever situation you're in, whether or not you put yourself there or not. It's like you go so low as to want to put someone else through like their own situation. You know, like you don't know what kind of like effect that could have when you like rob someone, like people who scam or people who like, you know what I mean, like things like that, or like people who just like physically go out and take people's cars. Like someone could lose their job over something like that, and then go into a huge domino effect of problems.
Yes.
Just people, so like that's like a pretty.
Don't do that. Do you want the golden rule? Is that what you are talking about?
Yeah, like
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Like
Unless, of course, you are a masochist and you really are into being abused.
Well, I think people should. I think something I hold high regard is just like social awareness, like, like having a like, knowing that everyone else has their own lives and like your choices like do affect other people around you. But some people don't give a fuck. Some people are just like, nah, I don't give a fuck. Like I need to make my money or do whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's why that's why we have like plenty of fucking crime and theft, you know. Definitely in major cities because people are just fucking like sardine into each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little harder to like keep people like obeying the law all the time.
Yeah, I guess so. And, you know, there's that is a hard thing to do, to keep people obeying the law.
Mm-hmm.
If only life were more like a video game,
It is.
where there were rules that were determined for us by others.
There is a video.
Like perhaps a human farm even.
Yeah, we are a human farm, right? We live in a society.
And life could be fair, right? Finally, life could be fair.
Oh.
I don't know that it can be, because by nature we are not fair.
Yeah, of course. I agree with that. But we're gonna try.
We build and maintain
Try
our
your
own
best to make it
farms.
as fair as possible.
It's good that we try,
Yeah.
but we get what we take.
I think people definitely take for granted like what they actually have and like where they're at in life. A lot of people just don't give a fuck about what else is going on, you know?
That's fine.
I meet a lot of people.
I admire those folks.
I meet a lot of people on like autopilot.
Uh-huh. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with autopilot?
It's just the whole, again, like this being socially aware and like
Oh,
Just-
social.
like you know, like just again like knowing that like what's going on in the world and how people are like reading the room type shit like that. Like I see people do such stupid shit where I'm like why can't you just like read the room and like just have a little bit of like sometimes either compassion or just like better judgment, you know?
Yeah, that's asking a lot. That's asking a hell of a lot.
I know, I mean it is, but people aren't. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like I don't know.
That's a huge expectation to have with a stranger, especially.
It's true.
You don't know what anyone has been through, or like. I find it hard to not judge people and to not have expectations of them. But I'm working on that every day. That's a lie. But, you know, some days. How do you do that? How do you not judge people simply because they're different than you, or because they don't have that exact same blueprint of morality or education? It's really, really a crazy time in history to even be a person. So I think that not judging people who are different from you is going to be like the major takeaway. unless we want just absolute division or absolute control and power. One or the other. They both lead to the similar end, I think.
Similar end of what?
Human farming.
Human farming.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think as human nature, you gotta judge no matter what. But it's like your job to like take that intrusive thought and like not let it take over what, you know, you're like, don't let it perceive like your first initial thing, you know what I mean? No matter what it is you're judging.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like no matter what, like we do judge because of like all the different things in life that we've like encountered and experienced. But like, you really do have, like, you do have to accept that, like, yeah, like I do judge people, but it's good to, if you can, to me, it's a pretty strong willpower to just kind of take a thought and say to yourself, like, okay, this is intrusive. This is not like how I should be thinking, you know, things like that. Like, that's what I think. That's what I think changes the mental game of like, you have cognitive behavior change where you're like, okay, I'm not going to think like that. And that even comes down to like self-love kind of things. Like, you know,
it's just so difficult to do that to yourself.
It is. That's like one of the fucking hardest things is just tell yourself things.
But I think
like
culturally we're expecting others to do that when we walk out the door, and in so many different areas. And
I don't know. I don't really expect people like I do. I think I unconsciously do
quite a lot in my social worlds and in in the world. I think that we're encountering that constantly. It's not a great time for compassion when it comes to that.
What do you mean, like having like people like being able to be conscious of what they're thinking?
Sure, people
or like
don't pursue things that give them cognitive dissonance and try to change them about themselves.
Like you talking about people who are too like don't want to change themselves and like
for the benefit of society.
Yeah.
It's just asking so much, and advancement takes some kind of action and some kind of expectation of growth. I think. I feel like we need to give people more grace than we're giving them.
I'll be honest, man. I know it's like kind of cliche, but I feel like in the end, it's really about having people who can like trying to just make sure you lead by example in the sense of like just make sure you're doing good and being a nice person, and like hopefully the people around you can see that. And I know that doesn't just like change everything in the world, but like that's what I always think about. Where like I always feel like I want to like change the world and like do something that's impactful, but the only thing I can really do is just be a good person and try to help the people around me when I can, and things like that. And like the judging people is really hard, and like I don't really expect anyone to do that or have that power, but I'm at least gonna make sure that I'm around people who do, and like spread that kind of like ideology of just like being a little more open and understanding of like you even said too earlier about like you don't know what people are going through, they could be having the worst day of their life and like they just seem like, oh, this person's a fucking shithead,
and we just burst into the bathroom like, hey, you supposed to apologize, mister.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you also don't know how he perceived the situation, or what that girl's been through, or what he's been through, or how.
Sure, yeah.
So there's a bunch of fucking.
I think he is doing a grandstand personally, but
I think it's a pretty. Again, it goes into the willpower of being aware and just being like displacing yourself from the situation and maybe understanding a little bit like, okay, like this isn't gonna end well if I become violent or like be angry about the situation,
right?
Like, just have to like try to be a little like compassionate and patient and just be like, hey man, like sorry, like I didn't mean anything wrong by it.
He was looking to make a conflict that didn't belong to him about him, and he wanted to take that conflict and turn it into
like his own
the power move.
Yeah. Well, who knows, man? Who knows what he feels about that woman or whatever.
However,
it's obvious that she does not reciprocate his feelings.
What do you mean? Otherwise, he wouldn't be so desperate for approval.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I believe that it is, in fact, people like him who start trouble upon or on other people's behalf. Like, what did you say? It didn't belong to him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't his situation.
Yeah.
But it could have been, like, who knows? Like, again, it could.
And he should have sat there and ate his fucking jalapeno poppers and shut the fuck up before he is swiftly dealt with.
What is that called? White
With
knighting?
a Swiffer.
White knight.
I guess, yeah.
That was
kinda
what
like
came
White
to
Knight.
mind.
The Swiffer?
No, the White Knight.
Mm.
I always preferred the Red Knight.
At
With
medieval
blue sandals.
Although I felt he was often cheated, as it was him that would usually be disqualified, as they would plant an audience member in his section who would ultimately be caught using silverware. And so then, like, the Grand Sorcerer or whoever the fuck would
Interesting.
Andy Dick in the Cable Guy when he's like, someone in the Red Knight section was caught using silverware. And then the ultimate betrayal, for a knight is to have one of his spectators using silverware.
Mhm.
I've been using the word ultimately too much
So fucking-
lately.
that's so
I'm liking
And
it.
I realized it 2 days ago, and it's been bothering
Wait,
me.
how long ago?
Ultimately,
It's all
it's not going
medieval
to make a
times.
difference whether or not
Yeah.
you change
Oh,
it.
that's crazy.
It's still there.
I know. I went there recently, and they totally gave me silverware.
Oh, they used to give you free entry on your birthday. Now they
Yeah.
give you a discount, I think.
Oh.
I think that's right.
No,
I
they
might be
don't.
wrong.
I don't think so.
I might be wrong.
Now
It might
it's
still be
just
free.
so there's a bundle thing, but you have to get like
Of silverware?
like a discount package thing. I went there recently, honestly, for someone's birthday.
That's great. I'm jealous.
It was pretty fun. I haven't been there since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And going there as an adult and like getting to have a drink and shit is like pretty nice. And like
That's
the
fun.
food was mediocre.
Mhm.
Wasn't great.
I remember a big chicken leg.
They don't have that anymore.
Are you kidding
They
me?
have like a little chicken breast or something. It
Give me a
wasn't.
break.
I know. I was like
Who wants
expecting a
that?
big ass chicken leg.
At the greatest tournament on earth.
I know. I was kind of like
Different
I thought
tournaments.
it was kind of bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's just cheaper to just give everyone like fucking chicken breast or whatever.
Yeah.
Do they still offer dragon tail soup?
I have no fucking clue, to be honest with you.
Have you
You're like so.
have you both been to
Shame.
the Renaissance Fair?
I've been
The
there
Bristol Renaissance
one
Fair.
time. I've been there, but I don't really remember it too well. I remember
Yeah.
like not much of it.
Well,
How was that for you?
have you?
I wanted to go until I was left behind.
Interesting.
Elaborate.
I'm afraid someone, or some, if I want to be more specific, a woman I loved didn't reciprocate my feelings
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately left to find some other white knight at the Bristol Renaissance Fair.
I see.
Whoa! Is this like a romantic comedy?
Well,
That sounds like
isn't
a-
every romance
I don't
a
know. That
romantic
sounds
comedy?
like a plot though to something like like Your Highness or whatever, but fucking romantic comedy.
Well,
I don't know whatever became of this. I don't know what happened when she went there.
failed merger of spirits. Is that, is that what we would call that? Is that esoteric enough? Do we like that? What is the word?
Unjoustable,
Unjustifiable.
unjustifiably placed in a relationship that many of us don't want. It's called social discord in our modern times. Hi, I like to play loud music on the L. Can we be friends? No, fuck you. What about me? I smell bad and don't notice. Now, see, what do you do? Like, do they know? You know, do they
Probably
know?
not. I find that most people who smell bad,
Are they ignorant?
I don't think they notice. I think
they've grown so
they're
accustomed
conditioned to
it.
their smell.
Yeah.
They sleep in it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever
They were
notice.
born in it.
Like you ever
It's born into it most times, I think. Yeah.
you're like if you're in any type of smell, like you just get used to it. Your body just doesn't even notice. It shuts off like that interaction if it doesn't.
Yeah. Breath is one of those things.
So weird.
You've ever known someone with a dead tooth?
Oh no, it's except for that show in Sunny in Philadelphia with the girl who has a dead tooth.
Doesn't smell good.
Yeah, I think that's why they call it a dead tooth.
I think so.
Like it's a rotten tooth, huh? You should get that shit removed.
Dang.
By force.
Well, gentlemen,
Gentlemen?
we're very close to the end here.
Aggressive men.
Aggressive men. Aggro men.
Acromen.
Agromen? Is that a word?
Acromen.
Agromen.
Acromen.
Let's make it a word.
Agricultural men.
Yeah.
Farmers. Human farmers.
So, like, why do they call it gentlemen though? Like, is that like a real thing?
Yeah.
Or men
I've heard
gentle?
that term
I don't really
once or
think
twice.
so.
I think that men used to be gentle, and I think it used to
I don't
be...
know. I think men used to kill each other a lot.
Well,
Still kinda
they
do.
also used to be gentle, and they would be in palaces surrounded by people in wigs.
Like, one person would be
Like medieval times.
in medieval times. They do wear wigs there, huh?
Don't we all?
Most people wear wigs. I'm
I
wearing
wear
one
a
right
mental
now.
wig. You wear a ball cap?
Yep.
Fake wigs.
There's one right just there, beside you.
Oh shit. This one?
No, that's a fur. That's a mink. There's a wig, it's black hair.
This isn't gonna give me lice, is it?
I mean, that's a
Isn't
good
that
one.
interesting?
That is actually very nice. God, that makes me feel more comfortable instantly.
What's up?
I feel more I feel more at home.
I wish you had put that on hours ago. I would have painted you with that. No, I liked looking at your face today. It was fun for me. But now that time is over.
See, I feel like you should put that hat on.
I think the painting is done.
Are you sure? You're gonna have to.
See, this is why I have this bin. Someone could do this the entire time, and I would have painted you like that. One day someone will do these things. And I will not direct them to do them, they will do them of their own accord.
Yeah,
much
I
like
should
you
have.
just
I
did.
should have been like this, honestly. Can we just restart?
Yeah, let's restart.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, I've only got an hour before the next episode.
Oh, they're gonna have to fucking wait.
You're gonna have to
Politely, of course.
tip my hat to you.
What do you mean I have to wait 2 hours? Do
You
you see what we're doing here? This is real art, people.
It's so important. It feels important.
Does this make you comfortable?
I'm very at ease.
You at ease? What are you, a soldier?
Me?
No.
No.
No?
Well,
You don't get a veteran's
a soldier of comedic importance.
Of animal farms?
Animal
Or
people
human
farms.
I mean.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, I approve this message as the gorilla.
Alright.
Did I ruin your podcast?
Are you joking? You just improved it so dramatically.
I feel like it just kind of like
You
makes
feel-
this topics just go way off
Do you
rails.
feel safer?
I feel
I
very.
feel very safe in a mask.
I feel safe,
It's true.
but I also feel like this smells like a lot of rubber.
Yeah?
And that smell's not going away.
That's good. It could smell like fecal matter. I don't know if fecal matter has a smell
I
necessarily.
think it does. I think it's straight up shit.
Yeah. Depends on the quantity, right?
Depends what kind of shit smells.
Man or
Is that what's at the human farms?
Mm-hmm.
What do people eat at human farms?
each other.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this got really... What is this, a Black Mirror episode?
Well, they do. You know they do.
Did they say that because it wouldn't reflect if it were a black mirror?
It's so comfortable. No, I think that, actually painters used to use, and many people still do, use black mirrors to actually look at their,
Oh yeah,
their images. I use a mirror often so that
What do you
can
mean,
see,
like a
like you can
darkened-
see them, you can see the image backwards, so it reverses itself in your mind. There's a term for this that I forget, and I'd love to have that memorized. I should know that. This when you switch an image that you're used to looking at, and you kind of become blind by it.
Pretty much helps.
Looking in a mirror
Shapes
helps you.
different.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can like, if
So
you're looking
I was-
at something for a long time, you won't notice something. But once you look at it in reverse, it will like, you'll see it for what it is the first time instead of having this like burned image in your head. So you can see all the weird little problems where like something might be a little bit off in a section you didn't notice because you've been looking at it one way the whole time.
Okay.
And then also the black mirror is nice because what it does is it desaturates color, so you can see the actual value structure and you don't have to worry about like color as much.
Well, gentlemen,
You mean
I
gorilla?
gentlemen and ape,
Whatever the fuck I am.
gentle ape.
I guess so.
Why don't we
Tip my hat.
Why don't we do a little reveal? And I will take your seat. And you will take my seat.
But I'm afraid you're standing up.
Was I supposed to knock it up?
No, you are. And then I take
The apes of wrath.
Here we are unpainting everybody.
Am I looking at it?
Yeah.
Kind of look.
There.
Oh, damn.
Okay. You want to have a look? A peep, if you will?
I like my mustache.
The mustache.
My mustachio.
Yeah. Wow. There it is. There are two grown men.
Talking about human farms.
Mm-hmm. Many times, and appropriately so. Because repetition is best. Repetition for emphasis.
You even captured when I spilled the coffee on my pen.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you spilled coffee in
Yeah.
I don't remember capturing that, but sometimes things just happen.
Well, I
in
think
such a magical
maybe
way.
indirectly even because it would, you know what I mean? Given the texture and the lighting, it would show up
That was the goal.
even if you didn't know,
It was the goal.
you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, grapes. I haven't tried these. Well, I tried the one.
Yeah, tremendous.
good.
The grapes are very good. Alright. That was the best of us and the worst of us.
Human farmers market.
Here we are. There we were. Possibly the last time you'll see any of us alive. Possibly the last time you'll see yourself alive. That's all.
Is that everything?
That's it. All right.